Good evening. The owner of a Plymouth care home has told ITV News she's worried cuts to the city's adult social care budget could affect the well-being of residents.
Now today, councillors have been meeting to discuss their financial plan for the coming year. They need to find more than £23 million worth of savings, which could also include a hike in council tax, as well as higher parking charges.
Well, Sam Blackledge is live outside the council house in Plymouth for us this evening. Sam, these are some difficult decisions for leaders there.
Yeah, some very tricky decisions today, Claire. Look, we know that council budgets are stretched at the moment like never before, but they will have to make some quite contentious choices over the coming weeks and months. The council has been affected, as we all have been, by the war in Ukraine, the impact of COVID, the ongoing cost of living crisis, and one of the biggest sticking points, as I've been finding out, is adult social care. 95-year-old Irene has everything she needs in her room. At the push of a button, somebody is always there to help.
All right, Irene?
All right, my darling, thank you. The staff are marvellous because you ring the bell and they come up in 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever, and they say, what, do you want anything? And of course, they bring up your breakfast and well, if you want it all up here, you can stay, or if you want to come downstairs and you can eat it down there or whatever. This is my home. I always say I live in a large caravan because it is like a large caravan, isn't it? But of course there is everything here. And if I want to shut the door and nobody comes in.
Every year, Plymouth City Council spends millions of pounds helping elderly and vulnerable people in care homes like this one. Demand is rising all the time. Council bosses say they're committed to making sure those most vulnerable in society are not left behind. But to do this, they need to cut costs.
I do think adult social care should be protected. I think there are very good providers, managers, carers. Already we're quite lean, so the idea of having to make savings in adult social care really does worry me. To squeeze any more out of it would be a real difficulty, I think.
The council believes it can save £3.6 million on adult social care by managing and reducing demand. But Cindy worries that any further budget cuts could impact on the well-being of her residents.
I find it challenging to cut back on things, but I think essentially if you've got a budget coming in, it's like a household budget. You have to look at what savings you can make, and I think we're still trying to balance that quality with making the prices kind of reasonable.
Councils across the region are facing budget pressures like never before. Those who depend on care are hoping they won't be the ones to bear the brunt of the pain. Sam Blackledge, ITV News, Plymouth.
Well, as you can see, Sam is still live outside the council house in Plymouth for us tonight. Sam, what are the other talking points then coming out from this meeting?
Well, all sorts of things really, and these are the sort of really hyper-local issues that matter to people in their communities. We heard debates about public transport. There was talk from the Labour benches about introducing bus services that have been cut. We heard talk about public toilets and things like bin collections and, of course, council tax. Now, the Conservative ruling administration want to raise council tax by 5%. That's the maximum allowed by law. On the other hand, Labour want to introduce a new premium council tax-wise for people who own second homes. Earlier on, before the meeting, I spoke to the Labour leader, Tudor Evans.
Our budget today puts ambition at the heart of Plymouth again. We'll have proposals to help the poorest in our city. We'll have proposals to get the growth going in the green jobs market. And also we'll give help to those who need it most, who are struggling the most, thanks to the way in which the Conservatives are managing the economy. So our budget is forward-thinking, yes, but kind and considerate as well.
Well, the council leader is Richard Bingley on the Conservative side. He wasn't able to give us an interview today, but he did speak in the meeting just a few moments ago. He said decisions like this are never easy. He said the council's facing a massive challenge faced with the war in Ukraine, the COVID crisis. He said they're facing a financial storm like never before. He added that the council is now in crisis recovery mode and very ready to take some hard decisions.
All right, Sam Blackledge live in Plymouth for us this evening. Thank you very much indeed.